Hey guys, and welcome to the 2019-2020 Pirate Boys Hockey Digital Awards Banquet. Obviously not how we expected this to happen, but with the AAA banquet coming up tomorrow, I wanted to get this out there and hopefully honor some of our seniors and our team this year this way, and hopefully we can get together and celebrate sometime here in the future. So we'll go through. I'm hopeful to talk about every single one of these guys. We had a great year this year, regardless of wins and losses, and I couldn't be prouder, like I've said before, to be these young men's coach. And I'm so looking forward to what our seniors do in their next stage of life away from Pirate hockey. So kind of what it's going to look like today is we will have a welcome here. We'll talk about a season recap. We'll talk about the seniors, some of our letter winners, the award winners for this year. We'll talk about next year's captains, and then some thank yous at the end. So without further ado, into our season recap. We ended the regular season at 4-21, and unfortunately lost our first playoff game there to East Grand Forks on the year. Obviously not the wins and losses that we would have loved to seen, but it's not necessarily always about wins and losses. And I think we had that conversation quite a few times during the year that what I'm really proud of more than anything is that these young men continued to be knocked down, to have unfair things happen to them, whether it was injury, illness, things like that. And they showed up every day to practice with a smile on their face and ready to roll and ready to get better. And that says a lot about this group of kids. They didn't have, obviously the best season, but I hope that they can look back and realize that, wins and losses, whatever, we built a ton of character and prepared us for the next stage of life, because things are going to happen. You're going to get knocked down. Things are going to seem that are unfair. My old man always used to say, when I'd tell him something wasn't fair, he'd say, well, the fair's in July. And I think that, sometimes that can be a good sentiment to have, and just to keep working and get better. And again, we talk about a season that didn't go necessarily according to plan. This is another situation, now where we're not going back to school and things aren't happening. And how do you respond to that situation? Do you sit there and pout, or do you get up and make the best of it? And I couldn't be prouder of how this group did that this year. And wins and losses were hard to come by, but I felt like overall we had a lot of fun and got better and improved. And like I said, I keep coming back to, we've had years where we've won more, but I really did have a ton of fun this year. And I think that I personally, as a coaching staff, I felt like we improved just because we kept trying to, come up with new things and really we changed the way that we did a lot of things, because we felt like we needed to give ourselves a better chance to win. And I think that, our players, again, bought into playing different roles. I looked down at the bottom there. I put that in as a little bit of a joke, but Ty Hamry leads the team in penalty minutes. But Ty's a kid, and we'll talk about that when we talk about the seniors this year, that has played defense for us. He made the switch to forward. He made it back. He went back and forth and really did whatever we needed him to do to help the team. And some guys would pout and be mad, and every time we asked Ty to do something, he had a smile on his face and said, yep, no problem, coach. And that says a lot about the kid that he is and the success that he's going to have in the future. Overall, by the end of the season, I'm fairly proud of, our power play at 16%, PK 73%. Jack Doda leading the team in goals as a freshman at 19 is very impressive. Ben Andringa missed a couple of games here, but he's just, still led the team in assists. Having two goalies there, Jaron leading the team in goals against average and Noah in save percentage, and both of those guys coming back next year, stuff like that gets me pretty excited about as we move into the next year. So overall, I wanted to talk a little bit about each guy on our team here before we get into the seniors. So obviously we have a big group of seniors, but juniors. Top of the list there, Noah Dragseth. I thought Noah had an excellent year in net. Started the most games for us this year. Really, was unreal at times. I thought, it looked like one of the best goalies in the section at times. He's an athletic kid. He works his butt off. He's got a good attitude and a real leader on this team, and couldn't be prouder of the season he had this year. Whether, there were some times that he gave up goals that weren't necessarily his fault, right? Goalie's a tough position. A lot of times that you get blamed for stuff that isn't necessarily your fault. And I thought Noah did a great job of every goal that he let in, it was on to the next one. And that says a lot about who Noah is. And that's sort of the attitude that you need as a goalie. You got to forget about it and move on. And again, I'm looking forward to Noah, next year competing with Carter and Jaron again for that starting spot. Noah Keel, a junior, I thought really, really took a huge step in his game. Maybe, he took big steps this year physically, skill-wise, but mentally, I thought that he made a very strong some very strong adjustments this year. He just really grew up and matured a lot this year in terms of being able to handle, hey, when things don't go your way, right? What do you do? How do you respond? And, again, super proud of how he handled that. And, now next year as a senior, I'm going to be looking for him to take that next step and really lead this team on the defensive side of the puck. Gabe Monteith, I can't think about this kid and not smile. Like, I will remember Gabe scoring against Kitson for the rest of my life. I've been a part of a lot of teams. I've been a part of a lot of goals. I remember some big goals and, things like, beating Detroit Lakes in double overtime, Dane Anderson scoring a game winner, and, goals against us too. But Gabe scoring against Kitson County Central is really to win the game there, or to win the game there with less than a minute left. That's something that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. Gabe Monteith is a heck of a kid. That says a lot about him that the whole arena went nuts. I was talking to Kitson's coach when Gabe scored, and, I lost it. I was running up and down, and not necessarily something I typically do when guys score goals. And he looked at me and he said, "Hey, that's what it's all about right there." So I love Gabe. And I think that next year, if he continues to work and improve, he's a smart kid. He takes everything you say. He's very cerebral, and if he does. If he continues to improve, I think he's going to find himself hopefully suiting up for some varsity games, and I think we can get him some action. So Carter Nelson, the next guy up, again, junior goalie. I thought all three of our goalies were excellent all year. It's a tough spot. We're playing some tough competition. They're getting hung out to dry at times, and all three of our goalies just had a great attitude about it. Carter is a kid who just, he's quiet, but he's a competitor. He works his tail off every single day, and couldn't be prouder of the season that he had. He comes to practice every day, works hard, and I think that again, nothing's guaranteed. We have a gluttony of really good goalies. We have 3 good goalies next year, and I think all of them are going to get chances to play, and I'm looking forward to watching them compete. And talking about these goalies, I think the fun thing for me to see is that the 3 of them are really best friends, or good friends at the very least. They're joking around, they're picking each other up, and I think they genuinely want to see each other succeed. So Zach Daniels played mostly JV for us this year. And there was times, Zach just started playing hockey, last year? And if you'd watch him, you can't even tell. There's times that he is the hardest working guy on the ice and doing things the right way. And I absolutely love to watch it. He works hard. It's fun to see. Caleb Thingolstead, a tough end of the year. Really season only got started and Caleb broke his arm. He tried to wrist there and tried to come back and was able to play in the playoffs for us, but wasn't, anywhere near 100%. And, that's always sad to see, but hopefully he can learn from that and come back hungrier next year. Gavin Anderson, just a kid who, coming into the season, it was, man, I'd like to see Gavin take a step next year. And he took a step and then some. Gavin had a great season for us this year. He was able to really, we transitioned him from defense to forward, and I thought he really shined. There was one play, I can't remember who we were playing against, Park Rapids, but he made a pass from the corner that I just went, what? Like, that's an NHL caliber play. And Gavin really, again, just took his game to the next level from a sophomore to a junior, and really was a huge contributor for us. And now is going to be a senior leader next year. Shelby Ahmet, second year being a manager for us. She does a great job. Her and Emmy both do are, more than anything are resourceful, and see them do what they there we go. All right. Back to now. I'm gonna hold on here. I'm gonna go back to my slide here with talk about the sophomores. A smaller group with our sophomores here. We've got Sam Stewart to start it off. This group all came up this year, and we're really just a great group of kids. I have them in class for health class. I love all four of these guys. Sammy just had opportunity after opportunity to bury here, and just couldn't quite get her. It's a lot. Watch him play. Zach Johnson, similarly, two big guys that I think that can be, between Sam and Zach, who I think can be really, really big time players for us in the future. They're big bodies. They're strong. They know how to play hockey. They know positionally where to be. And it's been great to have both of them out there. Blaine Endringa, man, talk about a kid who at the varsity level just was grinding for his first goal and couldn't quite find it. Blaine, played a lot of forward for us this year, and that's not his natural position. But again, another kid who just, stepped up, said, hey, this is where I can contribute. And he did a great job. When we were able to move him back onto defense later in the year, when some kids got healthy, it was plain to see that that's where he needs to play. And we're going to look forward to him really being a solid rock for us back there next year. But yeah, Blaine had a great year. Got to play with his brother, which was a lot of fun, I'm sure, for him. Justin Lindgren, Justy, obviously, we got a lot of love for his brother Keaton, and it was a lot of fun to have Justin out this year as a manager. He was out there skating at JV practices. Maybe we'll be able to get him out there in a game next year. But another kid who's just got a great attitude and a locker room guy. He's fun to have around. So finally, our freshman group. This is a group that chose to come up and play high school hockey this year, and I really think that we saw them take some massive strides this year, and I'm so pleased that they were able to do that so we could have a JV team. It was a selfless thing for them to do, and I personally think that they all got exponentially better this year and are now going to be really a step ahead of everybody else as sophomores next year. A lot of them got varsity time, and it was a lot of fun to have this group here. So Thor Harbut, again, he's a heck of a skater, a great kid. He's so smart. He knows exactly where to be on the ice. He takes everything you say and really processes it and is able to put it into play. And I loved that, by the end of the year, we got to see a little bit of Thor's personality and humor come out. And him and the next kid on this list here are a lot of fun to listen to. I know, some of the seniors, I know Leighton Salentine talked about how he was a teacher's assistant in Mr. Folkers' math class, and every day he'd come out of there and go, gosh, Thor and Nate are smarter than me. So they're two great kids. And again, I thought Thor had a really nice year on defense for us. And now next year, there's some spots on varsity, that are on the defensive side of the puck that I think Thor is going to be able to, if he continues to work hard, and which I really have no doubt about. The kid is maybe one of the hardest workers on the team. And he's going to, really step into that role. Nate had a great year for us this year. He scored some big time goals on JV. He filled in some spots on varsity for us. Another kid who does whatever you ask of him, has a smile on his face all the time, works hard, has a ton of skill, great hands. Love watching Nate play. And now he's got a year under his belt as a freshman. He's got a year of high school hockey, and he's going to be able to come out next year as a sophomore and really contribute, I think, at the varsity level. Jack Dota being able to lead our team in goals this year. And points as a freshman is really incredible. He doesn't play like a freshman out there. He's again, a kid this is his second year of varsity hockey. He's got 3 years left. It's insane. He's always has a great attitude, works hard, got to play with his brother. I love that about a small community is, you get a lot of brothers getting to play together, and it's a lot of fun. We'll talk more about Jack in a bit. Alex Longoria, another kid who came up as a freshman this year and really stepped into a top 6 varsity role. That's not an easy thing to do as a freshman. And I felt like as the year got on, he was much more comfortable, had some big time goals for us, really brought a spark every time he was on the ice. And now I'm really looking forward to watching him as a sophomore next year and seeing how he develops. He's a year bigger, a year stronger, and now it's not that all this newness. The pace is going to be, the game is going to start to slow down for him a little bit, similar to how we saw with Jack this year. Al's a great kid. He's got a bright future in front of him. Jaron Bailey, excellent year. Had some games. I can't remember how many saves he had over in East Grand Forks, 70 some, and just a competitor. Like I said, a great attitude, comes out every day, works hard. We had, like I said, those 3 goalies. We're going to have 3 again next year. And all 3 of them, I'm really looking forward to watching them compete for ice time. And, the other thing is that it didn't matter if you were playing JV or varsity, whichever goalie, they treated it the same. And Jaron, came out and worked his tail off no matter what, and made some really, athletic saves for us at times. Positionally, he's very good, thinks the game well. And again, another year stronger, another year bigger. I'm looking forward to watching him next year. Caleb Armstrong, a kid who I really enjoy having him around. He is again quiet, and there's times when I'm watching him that I go, oh my gosh, like he's going to be a player. He's going to, and as a freshman, we watch kids and we think, okay, where are they going to be at sophomore? Where are they going to be at junior year? Where are they going to be at senior year? And Caleb's a kid that I think, he sees the game well. He skates well. He's got very good skills. And I think that, as he continues to grow up and get stronger, he's going to be a big time player for us. And one of those kids that, maybe as a freshman, obviously looking a full-time JV guy, had a great year out there for the JV, but maybe now as a sophomore, we can see him start to mix in at the varsity level. And again, another kid I just love having around. ZT, Zach Taryn, one of the 48 Zachs we have on the team, which gets a little confusing for me. But I think I go ZT, ZJ, ZD. Typically that gets me through, figure out the right one. But Zach had a great year. I thought really developed as the year went on. Maybe, it's a big jump from Bantams to high school. It's definitely a big jump. And I thought Zach had a great year at the JV level. I think he really improved from a hockey sense aspect of, hey, this is what I got to do. This is how I play a system. This is where I'm supposed to be positionally. And I think that you're really able to tell that by the end of the year. And now another kid that we're going to look at, possibly, hopefully playing some varsity time for us next year. Dalton Dulude. I got nothing but good things to say about Dalton. I love that kid. He's a lot of fun. He's there every day for practice at 3:30, even though he doesn't practice till 5 with JV. And, you always know when he's in the locker room because you can hear him. And Dalton really, I thought, took some huge strides in his game this year. He volunteered to play defense early in the year for us. And, I couldn't be, again, we had a lack of defensemen. We had too many varsity defensemen and not enough JV defensemen. And Dalton really stepped up and played a big role for us there. He's physical. He's really sees the game better now, I think, a year of high school, and has really matured. And again, a kid I love having around. Drake Lord, another kid I love having around. He's got a ton of skill. I wish he believed in himself a little bit more, because I think that he can be a big time goal scorer for us. He's got all the skill in the world. He's got a great shot. He sees the ice well, and a kid that I think is going to surprise some people in the next couple of years here, and at some point going to score a big time goal for us in a big game. And then Jackson Demra. Love watching him play. Plays like his dad and his uncles. He's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. He's physical. He doesn't take it from anybody, even though he's a little bit shorter. And had a big year on JV. And when we needed him at varsity, he went out there, and I had no issues putting him out there at any time, and I know Coach Morgan didn't either. He's a solid defenseman, and now next year is going to step into a top 4 role for us on the D side and be playing every other shift. And I'm looking forward to watching him develop. So again, we'll talk about the seniors here in a second, but I wanted to make sure that I mentioned everybody. I know that got a little bit long, but so you can the nice thing about this is you don't have to sit there. You can fast forward if you don't want to listen to anybody else. So as we go on, let's talk about some of our seniors. All right. So the first senior on our list is Noodle, Quinn Westlake, number 8. 10 goals, 14 assists in his career. Just couldn't be prouder of the career that Quinn's had. He's gone from wing to center and back, and again, playing a couple of different positions, changing lines, playing with different guys. And Quinn just really had an excellent career. Big time goal scorer for us at times. He's a guy that you'd put out there at faceoffs. He works his tail off, never has a bad thing to say about anybody else, never seems to get frustrated or rattled. You just a genuinely nice kid. And I know that whatever Quinn chooses to do here in the future, he's going to be successful at, because I've seen it for the last 3 years, that the effort and time that he's willing to put into things if he wants to get better at it. And again, couldn't be prouder of Quinn. 10 goals and 14 assists. That is nothing to shake a stick at. That's a really nice high school career. Leighton Salentine, number 12. 7 goals, 14 assists. Kid who came up as a freshman for us and has played, varsity every step of the way. Obviously, tough to miss his junior year with the torn ACL, and proud of the way that he came back and led this team this year. Obviously, this is not the season that any of the seniors wanted to have. Winning only 4 games is never fun, but the way that this group of seniors really led as they went was awesome. So. Again, couldn't be prouder of Leighton. Excellent defenseman, sees the ice so well. And he's so athletic. That whole group of kids, all the way down to Libby are just great athletes and just very cerebral in how they see the ice. Let me see here. My pictures aren't showing up. Let me remove that from the stream. But yeah, Leighton, what a kid. I again couldn't be prouder of everything that he's done over the years for us. See if I can load this back up. All right, hopefully that's the last of our technical difficulties here. The next senior we have is Joey Dota, another guy who's been playing playing varsity hockey since 9th grade. 27 goals, 34 assists is an unreal total for a career. Couldn't be prouder of this kid. He works his tail off. He goes to the net. He does all those little things that nobody wants to do, and Joe isn't afraid to stick his nose in there. And it was a lot of fun watching him and his brother play the last 2 years together, and see that dynamic and how they push each other to get better. And again, senior captain for us, just really did an excellent job this year. And we'll talk a little bit more about Joe here in a second when we get to the awards. So Nick Schultz, number 18, another goal that I will remember for the rest of my life. Schultz popping on in against my hometown International Falls was a heck of a lot of fun to see. And by the reaction on the bench, you can see how excited everybody else was. They are almost more excited than he was. It says a lot about who Nick is as a kid. We love him. I don't know what I'm going to do without that dry sense of humor next year. And it's just we're going to miss him tremendously. Excited for what's next for Nick, and I'm going to be sad to not see him in the locker room next year. Next up, we have Jade Selzler. I told Jade when the season was over, that if you would have asked me, where Jade would be as a senior, it was not going to be a guy who was playing every other shift on defense and on the power play and penalty kill in every situation for us. I wasn't sure that he was going to be able to take that step. And boy, was I glad that I was wrong, because Jade really developed by hard work of his own into one of the, just an unbelievably steady defenseman that you never had to worry about when he was out there. He made the right play. He was strong. He just does everything right. And it says a lot about who he is as a kid. It says a lot about how he's been raised. He just works hard, and he improved. And by this time he was a senior, like I said, he was out there playing every other shift, playing on the power play, playing on the penalty kill. And, those are the types of, coaching stories that I really, it's not always, the kid who scores 40 goals and whatever. It's the kid who really developed. And I hope that I had a small part of that, but I really know that a lot of that was on Jade himself. He put in the time and effort to get better, and worked his tail off. And like I said, I couldn't be prouder to be Jade's coach and to watch how he's progressed over the last couple of years. Next up, we have Benny Andringa. 38 goals and 44 assists is one of, if not, it's got to be in our top 10 all time in terms of Pirate hockey points. I know Eric had over 100. Doug was at 100 and some, but for Ben to get at 38 and 44 over 4 years is really, really impressive. Ben is a kid who's got all the talent in the world. He works his tail off. He's got unbelievable stick skills, scores some goals, between his legs, and does these things that you can't believe that he's able to do. And maybe scores more goals in practice like that than in games that, you just go, oh my goodness. Again, I've loved coaching Ben over the last couple of years here, last 4 years. He missed some time this year, sick, and that obviously hurts his bottom line in terms of points. But again, couldn't be prouder of how he's developed. He's really turned into a fine young man, and like all these seniors, like I said, I've talked about it in the past that it's very hard to judge a season right now, right? Because you can look at wins and losses, but hockey is just a very, very small part of our lives. And these kids are going to grow up and be, farmers and doctors and soldiers and teachers and things like that. And for me, it's really hard for me to judge the success of a season or a group of seniors until 10 to 15 years down the line, until I see these guys becoming, getting married and having kids and being dads and being members of our community or their community wherever they live. And but again, a group of seniors that I have no doubt that they're going to be successful and be, contributing members to society just because of what I've seen over the last couple of years. I really am so proud of this group. So, and Ben falls right into that category, signed up, as a senior to join the military. That says a lot about who he is. And he's going to be successful. I have no doubts about it. Next up, a leading penalty minute guy, right? Ty Hamry. I talked a little bit about Ty earlier, 4 goals, 13 assists. Ty Hamry has developed into such a nice hockey player over his career. I couldn't be prouder of the kid that he's turned into, not only as a person but as a hockey player. Not only as a hockey player but as a person too. He's just a pleasure to have around. He's very courteous, very polite. Doesn't play like that, which I love. And again, this year he went from defense to forward and defense and forward and back again, and on the power play, off the power play, and whatever, and just smile on his face. Yes, sir. I'll do whatever it takes. Let me, I talked to him about it in his end of the year meeting that, hey, Ty, like, I don't know, obviously he's looking at football and things like that. And I said, but whatever you do, when you're done, please get back into coaching. Like, he sees the game so well, and he's able to articulate what he's saying so well. And that's a skill that not many people have. Obviously I want all these guys to get back to the game somehow at some point, but I really think that Ty's going to be a great coach someday, whether that's at Mites, at high school, whatever he does, whether it's at hockey, football, baseball, doesn't matter. I think that Ty's going to do a great job at that. And again, scored some nice goals, big time assists for us this year, played, kind of that power forward role and did what it took to help us win games. And I couldn't be, I'm so pleased with what he's developed into, and I'm excited to watch that next phase for him. Finally, managers. Whew, getting through this. All right. So we've got 2 senior managers this year, Jacob Brunell and Emmy Melsha. This is Jacob's first year as a manager. Stepped in and did a really nice job for us. Whatever we needed him to do, he was there every single day, filling water bottles, helping out, carrying bags, doing whatever. Just loved having him around this year. And this is, I believe, Emmy's 3rd year being a manager, video person. I talked a little bit about it when I was talking about Shelby, that these 2 really, really saved my bacon at times. Were able to, step up and find a charger for me when I needed it, or an extension cord, or make sure that the iPad was working. And if it wasn't working, they'd film it on their phone and send it to me. And just a lot of fun to have around. I loved having Emmy and Shelby there on game days for us. And they made my life a heck of a lot easier. So thanks to those 2. Same with Justin and Jacob. Made my life a heck of a lot easier. So lettering policy, this is what is on the school website. To letter for Crookston High School boys hockey, you need to play in half of the periods at varsity. So you need to be on the ice in half of the periods. So we play 25 games, 75 periods. You need to be on the ice for, good thing I'm a gym teacher and not a math teacher. 38 periods about. So you need to touch the ice in 38 periods. Something that we keep track of. Usually it's pretty cut and dry. Complete the season. So you need to, if you start the season, you need to finish it. You need to complete 10 hours of community service, whether that's Mites, Pirate Brothers, things like that. No code of conduct violations during the season. And then finally, the coaches reserve the right to letter anyone whose conduct and attitude contribute to the success of the team, regardless of games and periods played. So anybody that we feel, hey, if you contribute to the success of the team, I don't care if you play 1 game or 0 games, whatever we feel like you need to serve a letter as a coaching staff, then that's what we do. So without further ado, here are this year's letter winners. Noah Dragseth, Alex Longoria, Caleb Thingolstead, Quinn Westlake, Noah Keel, Blaine Andringa, Leighton Salentine, Joey Doda, Jack Doda, Nick Schultz, Jade Salzler, Gavin Anderson, Ben Andringa, Ty Hamry, Carter Nelson, Jaron Bailey, and Emmy Melsha. Also, managers need to manage for 2 years to be able to letter. And typically when they're a senior, we then letter them. But again, great group of kids. Could letter everybody, but we try to keep it to guys that are really varsity contributors. And it should be an honor to letter. It is a big deal, regardless of the team that you play on, whether you win 20 games or 0 games. Lettering in a high school sport is a big deal. So again, very proud of this group, and looking forward to watching these guys that come back next year as letter winners really take the lead for this team. Next up, we have our award winners. So they're all going to be on the page here. And then I'm going to talk about each and every award winner and kind of a little bit about what that means. Our award winners for this year are, and these awards are voted on by the players. Coaches get the final say. But for the most part, the players do a great job of voting for their teammates and knowing, kind of who deserves what. So this year we had co-MVPs. They were within 1 vote of each other by everybody. And our co-MVPs this year are Jack Doda and Leighton Salentine. Jack, obviously, our most valuable offensive player. Leighton, our most valuable defensive player. We put them together as a co-MVP. Couldn't be prouder of those two. Again, really, it was pretty much a no-brainer when we tried to pick between the two as a coaching staff. The votes are really close. We couldn't do it and decided, really they both were our co-MVPs this year. So they joined a list of some pretty good hockey players. Eric Delarme, Doug Larson, guys like that, and Brad or Brady Hepner. Really, really good hockey players. And these two, I believe fit right in that mold. So the Art Nomlin Most Dedicated Player Award goes to Joey Doda. So the award is given to the player who shows a dedication not only to helping his team get better, but himself as well. Some past winners of this award are Ben Andringa, Ethan Magsom, Ethan Christofferson, Harrison Biergo, Chandler St. Mitchell, Brady Hepner, Morgan Terpstra, Matt Hahn, Nick Noah, Joel Gasper, Jeremy Yeager, MJ Andringa, Jason Wardner, Paul Johnson. I really think that Joey's dedication to getting better is second to none. And we talk about helping his team get better. I think that Joey does a nice job of holding everybody else accountable and saying that, hey, if I'm doing this, you better be doing it too. And that's, kind of what a leader does. And Joe's, a guy who showed up every day for weights. He's on the ice early to getting his skill work in. Definitely a leader by example. And, I think that this was an overwhelming choice for Joe to get this award this year. And again, couldn't be prouder of Joey and what he's accomplished. And I'm looking forward to what he does. I believe he's going to UND and trying to get into law school. And I think that Joe's going to do a great job at that. He's a great arguer. So Curtis Brecken Sportsmanship Award, this goes to Quinn Westlake this year. This is one of my favorite awards to give out. This is a player who exhibits sportsmanship on and off the ice, and a lot of times it goes to some of my favorite guys. Guys who, regardless of skill level, though Quinn has a ton, provide an immeasurable impact on the team in the in the locker room, in the bus, and the hotels, at out to eat. This is again, we look at the list here. It's some of my favorite guys. So some past winners are Keaton Lindgren, Charles Eichhoff, Bobby Tiedemann, Mikey Iostic, Zach Sanders, Connor Morgan. I talk about some of my favorite guys: Luke Biermeyer, Jake Sanders, Ryan Fredrickson, and Joe Reese. Again, Quinn continues that list of just great kids who have won this award, and couldn't be happier for him. Rookie of the Year, Alex Longoria. Last year, Jack won this award. I'm trying to think of some other Rookie of the Years in the past. And again, Al just had a fantastic year. He transitioned so well to high school hockey. I was really impressed, how he'd made that jump from only playing 1 year at Bantams right up to high school. And he was just excellent all year for us. Talked a little bit about him earlier. He's works hard. He's got a ton of skill. And I think that he's going to be a big time player for the next couple of years. And finally, the Hobey Baker Character Award this year went to Leighton Salentine. Leighton is obviously just a great kid. This award goes to a player who demonstrates the values the game teaches: coachability, strength of character, integrity, commitment, teamwork, community building, and outstanding sportsmanship. There's no doubt that Leighton fits all of those criteria. Just watching him deal with that injury last year and how he came back from it this year, I really, really believe he kind of displays the spirit of Hobey Baker, during a difficult, year last year, and now this year, came back and just couldn't be more deserving of this award. And this is one that, we don't have the players vote on, that as a coaching staff, we decide on. And it was, like I said, a no-brainer for us. When I say to Sam and Connor and Cullen and whoever else is involved, like, hey, who do you think for the Hobey Baker this year? It was, and absolutely everybody was, yep. Leighton showed, again, came back from an injury, came back this year, and really just had an excellent season as a leader for us. So, congratulations to all five of these guys on winning these awards. They're all five of these guys on winning these awards. Again, they had great seasons and are very, very deserving of these awards. So finally, it is time to talk about next year's captains. All right. Next year's captains will be Noah Keel, Gavin Anderson, and Jack Doda. Again, just three big time leaders for us. I think that there's a huge group of leaders on this team. Looking at the votes, these were the three guys that showed up at the top. And Noah and Gavin are both going to wear the C, while Jack will wear an A as a sophomore here. And again, all three big time leaders. And again, there's guys, you don't have to wear a letter to be a leader on this team. We've seen that in the past, and we've had times where, during the season, we've had guys that, maybe we didn't get a letter too early in the year, that halfway through the season we said, nope, you're a leader on this team, and now you deserve to wear a letter. And we've had times where we've had to talk about taking it away from guys, and this is who their teammates voted for, and I'm very pleased with the results, and I'm expecting these guys to be big time leaders for us next year. And I'm expecting all of our returners to be leaders for us this year, whether you play JV or you played varsity, it doesn't matter. You got a year under your belt now. And I think that you can all be leaders for this next group that's coming in. Finally, time for thank yous. Again, we couldn't do this without you, without the parents. I go to, I do some HP stuff. I go to coaching clinics. I talk to other coaches, and I hear just horrible stuff from other coaches within, very, very close range to us. And I couldn't be more pleased and thankful for the group of parents that we have. You guys make everything so easy on us, from the hot stove to running the 50-50s to doing the chuck-a-pucks to getting your kids to the rink on time to, providing soap and laundry detergent and sharpening skates. A big shout out to MJ and Drags for sharpening skates all year. That's a huge commitment and thing that they do, and I am so thankful for it, because I don't know how to sharpen skates. And yeah, I just from the bottom of my heart, I know Connor and Sam feel the same way. I'm so blessed to be able to coach your children. And I thank you for giving me the opportunity to do that. And we, like I said, we couldn't do it without you, and you guys do a fantastic job. And to the players, again, seniors, thank you. This is a group that's been with me for, the freshman here in my first year of coaching as the head coach. And I'm very proud of the young men that you've developed. And then the next group that came in as sophomores the next year, I don't want to get choked up here, but I'm very proud to be your coach, and I'm thankful for the memories that we have, and I hope that I was able to impart some wisdom or something on you that you will remember and take on to the next stage of life, and I hope that you remember that just because hockey's over, like we've talked about, it's a very small part of life, but look back on it, and I can't wait to see you guys back for the alumni game and things like that. To the next group, the juniors, sophomores, freshmen, we got work to do, right? If we want to improve on where we were this year and come back next year better, we got work to do. And what's that going to look like? We don't know yet, right? This coronavirus stuff, we don't know whether, what we're going to be able to do for, summer weights, things like that, whether we're going to be able to get together as a group, whether you're going to have to do it online. I will have stuff for you. But we got to continue to get better. I talk about it a little bit. This is a time that, right now it's the end of April here. And, some of us might not have done anything for the last month. We might not have worked out. And I think that's a huge mistake. We're going to be able to tell next fall what teams really worked out and which teams really played video games. So whether it's stick handling in your garage, getting a workout in, getting a run in, we got to be doing something because we got to take advantage of this opportunity with us being home. So, if you want something, reach out to me, get a hold of me, and we can get something set up. But we got to get to work because we got stuff to do. And again, we're not gonna gain any depth next year, right? We're not gonna get a bunch of a huge group of kids coming in that are gonna be able to contribute right away. So we're gonna have that short bench. We're gonna have to be having guys playing every other shift, and it starts now. So I'm looking forward to that. Other thank yous, Sam and Connor. I love coming to the rink every day with you guys. I'm so thankful for you guys to be my assistant coaches and to be part of this with me. They do such a great job. They push me to be a better coach. They bring ideas. They challenge me on things, which I love. And I couldn't do this. I couldn't imagine doing it with anybody else. So I love you guys, and hopefully you guys are staying safe. We haven't chatted in a little bit, but I'm looking forward to getting back to the rink. That's really that's it. Be on the lookout. We're changing probably. Typically we have our alumni hockey and golf weekend in June here. We are going to be postponing that, I believe, until August, and it's likely going to be just golf. So we will likely need some help from you guys as parents that are coming back on that. So be checking your email. But again, I'm so proud to be your guys' coach. I'm so proud to work with you. I'm so thankful to have this opportunity, and now it's hopefully we can close the chapter on this and get ready for next season. So have a great day. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Stay home. And we'll hopefully chat soon. Thanks, guys.